Okay, so that video I made last night about how radar detection works and low frequency versus high frequency, et cetera, especially with stealth technology. I had a lot of people ask about electronic warfare and jamming. This one I have to tiptoe very, very carefully because pretty much everybody in the world, no matter what country they are, when it comes to electronic warfare and jamming, it's classified. But I can give you like a bland understanding of how this stuff works. So when it comes to jamming, ultimately, you have a couple different types of jammers. Let's start there. First off, you have a continuous, non-continuous, repeater, and then quiet. Quiet's technically a non-jamming track, so everything in the air that is not jamming a radar at that point in time is technically a quiet jammer, which is not a jammer. I don't know, it's a little confusing, but stay with me. So when it comes to a jamming aircraft, one type that you might run into, what it does is it receives the radar signal from that radar on the ground that is tracking it. It then takes that radar signal, duplicates it, and blasts a shit ton back at that thing. Think about it like you're playing catch and you throw the baseball to your friend. Well, now your friend has grown 75 arms and throws 75 baseballs back at you. It's a little overwhelming. So radars get overtaxed, they get all these weird returns, they get false tracks, they don't know what they're looking at, and it's really bad. But keep in mind, every type of jamming has a benefit, but it also has a cost. The benefit being that you can jam a single radar system, but when you employ multiple systems in an area, especially if all these radars are running on different frequencies, the amount of voltage it would take to jam all these frequencies simultaneously, you couldn't put on an air platform. Maybe like a 747, but that's about it. So let's say you detect an S-band, so you start jamming an S-band signal. Okay, no big deal. Well, now other sensors that are in that area that run on X-band, C-band, you name it, right? They all start looking around in the same vicinity. Well, now you have become a very, very loud S-band object in the air. Now, when I say loud, think radar isn't that different from sonar, with the exception that one uses sound and then the other one uses radiation, right? It shoots it out, it gets returns, it reads those returns, tells you where something is in relative location to the object that sent out the initial signal. But something out there sent its own signal to try and screw up that thing that sent the initial signal. Stay with me, I know this is a little confusing. So now everybody else who is around watching this interaction happen knows exactly where that person is because they're being loud as shit. Now, I know the next question a lot of people are going to have is, well, what do we do to combat this? And unfortunately, I can't really divulge that. We have passive and active measures in all air defense systems on how to combat jamming.